like the voice of God.
It is me.
Yeah, I know. I thought that too. I was like, really sounded good. It was like, ooh. Yeah, see, that sounds
Excellent.
so good. You should be a narrator.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the VR Creator Club. Today, we're going to be having more of a hangout, and we're going to be talking about some things. But I prepared some information beforehand, and that information is there. We go. My my thing didn't stop working, um, and that information is um going over some of you guys have heard about it before, some of you guys might not have. I'm hosting a virtual Odyssey festival, which is a uh, VR games focused festival here in Banter, and it'll be happening on August 31st through August 8th. So get prepared for that. We've been getting people signed up to present their games, and it's looking like it's going to be a pretty decent turnout. So if you have a game and you want it featured in the Virtual Odyssey Festival, go to virtualodysseyfestival.com or reach out to me as Arkin on the Banter Discord. Today, we're going to be talking about how we can find AR/VR developer jobs and portfolio guidelines. So, some of the things that I did a little bit of research to talk about the subject beforehand. Some of the things we're talking about are networking, which is what this sort of event is for, going out and um, finding people in the industry, talking to them, and word of mouth and people knowing who you are is one of the primary ways people actually find and get jobs. The other one is working on your portfolio. There's a couple different kinds of portfolios. One's is like more of a programmer portfolio, and then one was like more of an art side portfolio. So, um, kind of knowing how to develop that portfolio and present it is really important. The other one is knowing the language. As our industry evolves, knowing how to talk to people about what you want is important. Specifically, thinking about things like the Apple Vision Pro came out recently, and people are using the word spatial a lot. And when you hear that, you kind of have to know that they're thinking about the Apple Vision Pro when they say spatial, not necessarily something like um, the Meta Quest or something like that. So, keeping that in mind, and then having resources for things, for ways to look for jobs. So, over here on the left, I put a few ways that you can look for jobs. There's actually a website called jobsinxr.com, which has a few hundred jobs on it. Kind of go through, which is actually really nice. On LinkedIn, there's a person named I might say her name wrong, and I apologize, but Andy Fidel. She puts out weekly listings of XR jobs that are really great. Um, Go ahead.
Question.
Uh,
Are you presenting something?
Oh yeah, I can't see
uh,
it either. I was just listening.
oh, if you guys refresh your screen, you should be able to see it.
Oh, how do I do that again?
Rejoin the world.
Oh yeah, I'll be back. Okay. Ah, okay. Okay.
Yep.
Oh, I still don't see it.
Hello.
Oh, I see it now. This is good.
Hold on. Power
Excellent.
button. Resume. I still don't see it. Oh well, that's okay. I don't know
Okay.
how to do
Well,
that.
it's all the same stuff that I'm saying.
I'll listen.
Anyways. So,
Yeah. Hmm.
um, and also there is a new one that I saw that's xrjobsboard.com. And if you look to your left over on the side, I actually put a link to that where you can go and kind of take a look at that. I'll also put this as a message in the VR Creator Club. forum so that you guys can see all of this. For those of you who can see my screen, I have a little bit of my portfolio and what I understand as good portfolio practices that I was going to just kind of touch bases on real quick. So this is my portfolio, and some of the things that whenever I'm working on a portfolio, I keep in mind is that you want to have kind of a brand identity, a way of people remembering you. So I have kind of a logo up here, which mine is inspired by like a Japanese Honko stamp because it's something that I enjoy. And then I kind of keep the same color scheme throughout. Additionally, I make sure that all of my projects are clearly delineated so that people who are coming to my website will understand it. And then whenever I actually go into a project, I'll go into this one. This is a project that I did where I redesigned the Sail VR interface. So it's not, I did not make this game, but I did um, kind of go over some of the project or the interfaces. And one of the things here is I specifically went over like my obstacles, my process, and my conclusion, so that I would tell a story whenever I was putting my portfolio together. So because I've done some training with people who work at Nike for like design portfolios. So if you're working on like a programmer portfolio, this might not apply perfectly. But one of the things is that they only look at a portfolio for maybe 30 seconds. They just kind of browse through it, see what they can see, and if something interests them, then they'll come back. So you want to make sure that everything's like very catching, eye catching, and uh, something that um, people will remember. And it's important to be distinct in your presentation, tell a story, and yeah, just kind of put yourself out there. Be true to who you are whenever you're doing it. A lot of people try to be too professional whenever they make a portfolio, and a lot of times when people are looking through your portfolio, they're not only looking for somebody to do a professional job, but people that they can actually work with on a daily basis. So don't be afraid to put a little bit of your personality in your portfolio. And with that, I believe we're going to go back to the regular discussion. So at this point in time, I wanted to just have a kind of like regular talking, regular discussion. So if we had a bigger crowd, we'd kind of break out into larger breakout rooms. But I think that right now we can just kind of go into the social aspect of it and kind of talk about uh, what the presentation is and what you guys think about finding jobs in XR. Does anyone want to start anything off with their ideas?
Well, first, thank you for the presentation.
Yeah, no. I'm just gonna leave this up.
Yeah.
Very, very nice. I muted you because I was getting some feedback.
Oh, is it still there? Hmm. Let's see. Did I get rid of it? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, and there's no feedback. I had to switch from the headset.
Uh,
That's still a problem that I have, and the only solution is to spend another $3,000 on a new computer, and I'm not ready to do that yet.
I can still kind of hear like my own voice
Yeah, I don't
through
know.
your.
I'm wearing headphones, and I'm just trying to. Here we go. Hang on. Let's try that. How's that?
Test. Yeah, this is better. Much better.
Okay.
Can't hear
One more
anything.
thing. One more thing had to be turned off.
Cool.
I have some thoughts, and I wouldn't mind just getting them out because
Yeah.
I'm kind of in a special position as opposed to you people, in that I'm 72 years old and I'm also um, somewhat retired, but I still work on putting together teams of people for different kinds of projects. Um, so the reason I'm here is because I want to see all the different ways that people come together to achieve common goals or collaboration. And that's been a really big part of what I've been doing on Horizon for the last 3 years. So anyway, I just wanted to get that out so that there was no illusion that I'm 17 and looking for a long-term career.
Mhm.
Looking for some internships out here.
I'm probably looking at putting together a number of different types of teams, but I'm unclear right now where it's going to go, and a lot of it has to do with what the next generation of headsets is. Um,
Mhm.
it's pretty hard to get mass adoption with wearing 2 pounds of metal and battery on your face. So,
I mean, I'm pretty sure for like tech-wise, it's definitely improving.
oh yeah,
Looking at
oh
Mhm.
absolutely.
Mhm.
Magic Leaps, and then MetaQuest is like a third like iteration of like headset, and like there's another one coming out with like the S version, so it should be a little bit more lighter.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So
I believe
Yeah.
the S version is everything that the Quest 3 is, but with a screen that's not quite as good and lenses that aren't quite as good, but the processing power is the same, so that developers only have to focus on hitting one benchmark, which I think is really
yeah,
great.
Good.
Um, Flutter, I know that you've
Yeah.
been working in the job, working on
Ugh.
looking at looking
Well, I
at
have a
getting a job.
YouTube video about this topic. Yeah. So if anyone wants to go to Flutter VR on YouTube, I just it's maybe I just did this video. It's sort of recent. Yeah. Because I went to AWE in June. I mean, it's a little bit expensive to go there. But
A little bit.
I saved a little bit, just a little bit. That's where I met Matt, actually, Arkin.
Hi.
Yeah.
Yeah, my name is actually
So,
Matt, by the way.
but I met Arkin there. See, I want to call you Matt also. And yeah, that was great to I mean, conferences I think it's like when you're ready to go, it's a really good thing, but it's not something like you have to do. But I just think in general I guess I'll say that I think networking is the most important thing because it's I still think it's good to send your resume out there. I mean, I have gotten people to respond to resume, but I think the best thing for me has been networking. uh
Yeah.
I just always talk to people. Anytime someone in LinkedIn says, "Oh, do you want to have like a video chat for 30 minutes and just meet each other because we're both in XR." And I go, okay. And, some people I don't talk to again, but then some people I end up working on a project with. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it is. I get most of my work, I think, through referral and not being afraid to talk to people. One of my first gigs that I got was with Pika VR, and I actually met them from Spatial Ape. So, the precursor to this event, and I really liked their project and just reached out to them, and then they brought me on their team. So
Yeah.
anyway, yeah, it takes a
I
lot.
have
It can be a little bit like I mean, I'm normally very introverted, but I really love VR, so it's the one thing that gets me out to talk to people because I'm really passionate about it. Uh, but it does take quite a bit of time to talk to people. But if you come from the perspective of like having fun and like really have the passion for it, it's easier. Yeah, yeah. And
So
just
what's the best
looking to
way?
make
I'm sorry.
friends and not like I want a job. Then it I think is more. Uh, it's like more organic that
yeah.
way. Anyway, building
And
relationships for real. Go ahead.
yeah, I was just saying I think that what I'm doing with like the Virtual Odyssey Festival is instead of trying to make a game myself,
Mhm.
like creating an organization that helps lift other people up because
Yeah.
there's so many people doing amazing things out there and like being able to put spotlights on them, and it creates that relationship. So like after I've done this, like people should know. I'm hoping that people will be able to see my work, and if they're looking for something, they can actually reach out to me. And it's just like that, like you're saying, like building those relationships, not just like professional ones and be like, give me a job, but like
Mhm.
actually being
Mhm.
friends and like uh, being known as someone who's actually reliable is very
Mhm.
helpful.
Hmm.
Um, Bear, I don't know what your name is, but you have Bear Blush, which is you.
Oh,
Um,
wait, I have Bear Blood.
yeah.
I didn't. Okay, so
I don't know what. Yeah.
my name is Gene, by the way. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, okay. That's
Did,
interesting. I was actually wondering like, cause I've just noticed like I'm using the interface. I'm like, oh, that's how you see like the individual's name just
Oh,
like pointing above the person's name with your hand. So
I
Oh.
like I
see.
was
yeah.
wondering like, what is my like
Gastric lime. Yeah, that's
default?
interesting. I like that name. I like gastric lime.
Is that mine?
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. I guess
Yeah.
that's my name. I didn't pick
Yeah,
it.
but
Yeah.
I see. I didn't know that. Okay, continue.
I was
Yeah.
just asking if you wanted to share your experience in like kind of job hunting in the XR industry,
Hmm.
or like, do you have
Uh,
any tips or thoughts?
so on my end, yeah, not much of a job hunting. I guess for me, I've been a lot of prototyping for the past 2 to 3 years, especially when like COVID occurred. I just saw Justin's and Balaam's
Hmm.
like tutorials, and I bought a headset and just started working on it, and little by little, I just prototyped and just kept building, tinkering around, and it's getting to the point where like, all right, I do love this craft. I enjoy building it and like solving the problems and like whatever idea I come up, just immersing myself into it. And then I don't know if you guys, when you're building something where like you code or you do that mechanic that you want to do, you put on the headset and then you see that it's actually working, and next thing you know, at the end of the project, you see that full immersion that you created. So it's like, wow, this is
Yes.
my world that I created.
Yeah.
Um, it's basically I'm in a position where it's like, all right, I want to start creating my own like small capstone projects to create the portfolio, and then move up to communicating with other like individuals, like-minded individuals, and hopefully like switch careers into it.
That sounds. That's a great plan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds really good. I would suggest that actually. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Hmm.
really hard for some people to just kind of like switch so hard. Like I
Mm.
I was in
It takes
engineering for a
time.
really
Yeah.
long time.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I think I've been working towards it for like 2 years now. So, but
Hmm.
it's still on the design side. So trying to especially in like an industry that's like changing so much, so and it's so
Yeah.
new,
Yeah,
like trying, yeah, the communication and like the words, I think are really important to trying to explain people like what you're doing. So that's, yeah, it's kind of cool.
it's for me. I feel like it's gotten to the point now lately, especially with like how society is. It's best now to, well, I don't know like if this like ideology or thought process is wrong, but it's a lot easier now or better now just to focus on creating and developing and then just posting it. It's basically like
Yes.
making your own
Yes.
music, and then the louder and the more you play and the better you get at making your own music, people will listen, and then hopefully something can flourish out of that.
Oh, I agree with that so much. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just like want to build off of that. I do think you have to also put yourself out there on a level, and then you develop your style by doing that.
Hmm.
And so I think that's really important. Also, like when you think of your portfolio, to have all the pieces look like unique to you, whether it's thematically or look. One thing I want to say too is when you have your portfolio, I would suggest not having like everything you do on there. I have seen people do that and it
Hmm.
confuses. Like when Arkin was saying people only look at your portfolio for 30 seconds, it's totally true. Sometimes people have
Mhm.
contacted me and not even looked at my portfolio.
Mm.
And then when they see it, they go, "Oh," I'm like, "Oh God," you could tell they didn't look at it, and because it's like you can see they're getting the reaction for the first time. It's like, "Oh,
Hmm.
okay," but that's how
Oh
I think
no.
people are distracted. They have a lot going on. So I think if you could keep also, like, I used to say that I was an XR designer. I don't think that's necessarily wrong, but I think it is good to focus on like VR and then this platform or this tool. The more focused you are, you're going to get that the right person or the right company like finding you to hire you because you're really speaking to that specific thing
Hmm.
versus like I do everything in XR because I tried that at the beginning. That did not really work. So,
Yeah, it's very difficult, especially since like you
yeah.
have the programming, you have the art, and then
True.
you have like getting the programming and art, and then
Yeah.
animation if you're gonna add that. So it's a craft in itself, and it's like you're just like you
Yeah.
are the I guess like the best term to put it is you are like you're the crafter, you're the woodcraft maker, and you have to
Mhm.
focus on a specific tool set to create that specialized VR
Yeah.
experience that you want to go ahead and do instead of like focusing in on like all these other items, which is like so difficult to do.
And it's oh my gosh, you can't do everything. And I try to tell people that you cannot. It's impossible. Even when you focus, it's a lot. So
Hmm.
yeah. Oh, I hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is awesome. Yeah. Anybody else?
Gastric Lime,
Yeah.
do you have anything that you wanna say?
Um, sure.
Put you on the
Hi,
spot.
I'm Zach, by the way.
Hi.
I say,
Uh, yeah, I didn't pick this name. I don't know. It's random.
it
So
We
I've
understand.
been doing VR for quite a while now, from like DK2 days. So I've been building little experiences and things from before we even had touch controllers, and
Mhm. Mhm.
released a few games. Nothing that did a lot of financial gain, but like you guys are saying, I believe it's just a repetitive process, and it's like an artist. You have to paint a million
Yeah.
paintings before you get one that hits. And part of learning how to build more complex games and bigger projects and being able to finish them, and of course doing the many projects along the way that took like 2 years, 2.5 years, that I would not do it that way anymore. More proficient, can do things faster, understand how scoping works and whatever. I'm a software
Mhm.
engineer by trade, so I do like um consulting and web stuff, and a lot of random computer and software related stuff. That's how I make my money. Um, but yeah, that's
Yes.
been the industry. So it's a lot of learning. It's a lot of doing it over and over again, and yeah, you just don't know which projects will even be a hit with the audience. Like it's even that is normally like just a little like random. Like I'd make something that I would think is a throwaway and would have no interest, and then that would be like one of the more
Right.
popular
Of course.
things. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's so
You don't know.
so.
Yeah.
I'm working right now on multiplayer racing game. I do post my progress in the community on school, so I don't know if you got
Cool.
a glimpse of it or not, but yeah, check it out.
Nice.
And yeah, that's it. It would be nice to be able to get some like contract work doing VR stuff. I think I definitely have that experience. I've gotten contract stuff for Unity work before, but it wasn't VR. It was like phone
Mm.
apps.
Mhm.
Yet to get commissioned for anything VR. And again, it's like that's in 10 years of doing it, so who knows? Yeah.
Mhm.
Nice. Yeah, the throwaway thing is hits home. Like I play D&D a lot, and it's one of like the memes of someone crafting a long storyline, and then they're like, and then there's a bartender, and they sell milk, and then the entire game, like 4 hours is spent with that one bartender, and you're like, but I did so much more work here.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Hannah, how about you?
Yeah.
Sorry, all the way at the end.
No, no worries. I would say I'm kind of similar to Jean. I'm trying to build a portfolio. I have like one project that I'm proud of, but hoping to make some more. Right now, I'm kind of focusing on getting better at Blender. This is
Mm.
basically my first year developing for VR. I graduated college last year, so just trying to get into it, but I feel like I don't really know that many people in the industry. So, yeah, it's definitely like I hear what you're saying, Flutter, about trying to get to know people and talk to people. I think it's kind of hard. Like, do you just reach out on LinkedIn? Like, what are the best ways to do that if you are just kind of jumping into the space?
Oh,
Well, that's
yeah,
a
I
good
think
question.
that,
This is
yeah, just
one of those
messaging
good
people.
things, but go ahead. This
Oh, yeah,
event, I
yeah,
think, is one thing for real. Go ahead,
yeah.
Arkin. Yeah, and
Oh,
then I can
I
continue.
yeah, I was gonna say for LinkedIn, like just messaging people is probably like trying not to like be pushy, but also just putting yourself out there and just being clear with people and being like, hey, just want to like Flutter was saying earlier, being like, hey, can we get like a 30-minute like little quick conversation? You'd be surprised how many people are
You'd
willing
be
to just sit
surprised.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've contacted companies and been like, "Hey, can I talk to
Mhm.
someone like on your design team?" And then
Mhm.
the CEO will be like, "Yeah, let's talk." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool. Let's do it." Now I feel like I'm wasting your time, but all right, we're and you get a lot out of those conversations, I feel like.
Yeah, and
That's
show them
awesome.
what you're working on. And, I think when you show your passion and then talk about what you're working on and that what you're interested in maybe getting into, yeah, they'll be willing to talk to you. And you can compliment them on their work. That always is helpful. You know,
Mhm.
like, oh, I really
Yeah.
love what you're working on or your app or your game. And, I'd like to know, I'm interested in getting this type of role. It's also good to talk to a lot of people because you might change your mind of what role you like later on. I noticed
Mm,
that for myself. I thought I wanted to be in the technical art area, and then I changed my mind later. I thought I also wanted to do art, but um, like just model creation, but then I changed my mind on that also. So I like
yeah.
level design. That's like my favorite thing. So
Mm.
and what else? Yeah, so I think talking to people, I don't know where you live, and some places have some local events, so it is good to
Mhm.
find people in person. There's also XR Women. I used to go to that group a lot, and there's some
Oh,
really good
okay.
people there. Yeah. Um, I have a lot of these links on my YouTube, by the way, too. So
Yeah.
just so you know, uh, it, and you can message me and be my friend on LinkedIn too. And yeah, yeah. I'm trying to think of what else.
She's like a social
Yeah,
butterfly, so
I kind of,
Awesome.
I'm not normally like, it's like if I like the topic or like if I'm passionate about what it is, then I am a social butterfly. But normally I just want to be at home and work on my project and that's it. And like hang out with my cats,
Mhm.
like I'm just like, but but then when I start meeting people in this space, I'm like, "Oh, this is fun." And yeah, so I think if you look at it as fun and like you're meeting friends that also enjoy what you enjoy, that takes a lot of the pressure off of it,
yeah.
off of like,
Mhm.
"Oh gosh, I'm trying to get a job. I'm going to be in the way of these people or wasting their time." No, because people, it is still new enough that people are willing to listen to you. So
Yeah.
it's awesome. I was very
That's
surprised, to be honest with you. I've gotten better reaction than I thought when I started. Yeah. So
that's
go
one of
ahead.
the reasons I like the XR industry right now is because my undergrad was in product design from the University of Oregon, which was more like industrial design, so designing three-dimensional objects. And when I looked at the job field, it was just extremely saturated,
Yeah.
very well
Mhm.
defined. All the practices were well known,
Yes.
and then I looked at I felt like I couldn't make a mark. I could learn what people knew and then mimic what they did, whereas in XR, people are still figuring things out and still like working on the best practices. And I feel like I can make things that are new and original that people haven't thought of yet or haven't like just had the time to get to, um, and build on that. Not to keep going back to this, but it's the project that's been in my head, like the Virtual Odyssey Festival. I'm building that because every time you build something or every time you buy a game in VR, it's always on a flat screen. And I feel like that there should be like a more media appropriate way to view that. And VR just hasn't evolved enough. Like the industry hasn't gone far enough for there to be like good practices on how to view games in an immersive way before you buy them. Um,
So
so like,
basically,
mhm.
sorry to
Mhm.
interrupt. So basically, like
Oh,
having
you're
a
good.
banter like setting where you
Mhm.
walk in that conference, you get into that uh, trial the demo mode, play the game while you're still in that conference room, and then just step out and like, all right, now you've had that trial
Mhm.
while you're in that conference of testing out like different types of games instead of just going out and like different like switching to like different like consoles or anything like that.
Yeah, which would be the best.
Mhm.
I think that
Mhm.
would be like the gold standard. Right now, I'm using like 360 images to kind of immerse
Hmm.
you. So Flutter's been working with me on this, where you get like a
Mhm.
360 image and you get like the music for it, but
Hmm.
Mhm.
there's also a browser where you can like look at the shop store also. So it's like incremental changes, but like she was saying, like the industry is so new. It's you get to like really um you can have like that friendly back and forth being like, oh yeah, this is kind of what I'm thinking about. It's not all corporate, like this is the best synergistic way to increase profits,
Hmm.
and let's just do that. So
Have
it's
you
really
ever
nice.
tried the Quest 3, the store display demo thing, which is like kind of an interactive video? It's not
Oh, I
really
haven't tried that.
interactive.
Yeah.
I tried that, and what was interesting is they did Asgard's Wrath, but way before it was released. It was like a couple months
Ah.
before,
Mhm.
and it was a video, but it was a 360 video, and
Oh.
you just watching, and it's maybe like 20 seconds at most because it was like a video that cut between a lot of things. But
Mhm.
the point I'm
Yeah.
getting at, it was like even that was like by itself the best game pitch for any VR game because I got to see the world, I
Right.
got to look up and be like, wow,
Yep.
and I wouldn't have gotten that from any like
Flat surface. Yeah.
a flat video
Video.
or
Mhm.
whatever. Just being
Right.
there, I think 360 photo might be a little too dead, but I think a quick video of what's happening, even if you're just a fly on the wall, but can look around and see things, was great. So I think it's
Mhm.
on all the headsets. I don't know how to get to it, but it's like when you put it in like store mode or whatever,
Mhm.
and you
Mhm.
can get to see it. And it had some see-through stuff as well because they were demoing the XR for the first time in color and all that. Um, yeah,
Nice.
that's my little comment
Mhm.
on. Yeah.
No, that's great. I didn't know that was a thing, so I'm gonna like look up how to do that now.
If
Cause
there's a Best Buy next to you, you can always go there and see if they have one of those stations where you can just look through it, and they'll have that running.
okay, that's
Yeah.
nice. Um, yeah. Um, but the yeah, the more that I've been like looking for jobs lately, it's been kind of an interesting experience, especially because the teams are so small. A lot of them are startups, so everyone kind of has to wear a
Yeah.
thousand hats. And
Yep.
I feel like what Flutter was saying is like I feel like I've been getting pulled in a bunch of different directions. Like, do how good do I need to be at 3D modeling, and how good do I need to be at Unity? Or some people are working on Unreal right now. So just like trying to really figure out what the requirements are.
Mhm.
Um, so I've just been applying to everything and hoping for the best.
I feel
That
like the
do
oh,
it. Yeah. Go.
there's a comment from like Pirate
Yeah.
Studios. I don't know if you know like Thor and like the things that he like puts up, but
Oh yeah,
he
yeah.
I saw like a video where he mentioned like the code. There's like a specific game where like the code of like the structure of the game is just a lot of like if statements and it's not pretty. And even though it's not pretty on the back end, the front end of what you deliver is good enough where if it's good where the viewers or people like it, then it's good. It's as long as
Mm.
like the end product of what you deliver is is clear and concise where everybody like loves it. How
Mhm.
you get to it doesn't matter.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true. Just keep working on
I
it. Keep
agree.
plugging away.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Anyone else want to take the stage? So I'm not hogging it.
Like
Cool.
if you jump on the stage, do you get like access to like change or
No,
display, or how does that work?
no, I was just
Yeah.
I can megaphone you. No, I was just meaning like anyone have anywhere they want to lead the conversation. Just um, so I'm not like forcing
I'm just
anything in any
thinking.
one direction.
Me too. I don't know. I have a lot I could say about it, but I want to hear other people. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's been a journey. It still is a journey. Yeah.
right.
But it's exciting though. But yeah, when something good happens, or even when I fix something on my game, I'm so happy. So yeah.
Oh,
What's
You got yeah,
Go
yeah.
ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Who had a question? Yeah,
okay.
I just started talking, but I didn't want to finish. Go ahead.
What's the current mechanic that you guys are working on your app or game that you're learning and slash trying to build?
Oh, good question.
For me, I'm trying to make it so things like the orbs appear in banter, which is constantly changing.
Hmm.
Um, and just making it where everything works cohesively because I have um, four buttons that are also four buttons that have an on and off setting, and then four 360 spheres that correspond to that, and making sure that they all work together and like you don't click on one sphere and then another sphere turns on that's not supposed to be on. But I'm also trying to figure out how to have things in Unity talk to JavaScript so that you can have like an in-world browser. So
Hmm.
uh, Banter is really cool because you can use JavaScript and HTML. So one of the things I've been doing is making it go from uh, Unity to HTML to JavaScript to just have like an in-world browser and making sure that all everything like works cohesively with itself. Been quite the journey on that.
Cool.
Hello.
Oh, hey.
Hey,
We're talking about in-world mechanics or in-game mechanics that we've been working on and our processes and what we've been doing to get those done.
sorry, say that again.
We've been working on we're talking about the in-game mechanics for our projects that we've been working on and just kind of things that have been stumping us. Also over on this IT Trey, he has like a classroom where people kind of
Yeah,
learn
Oh,
about things in banter.
yeah.
So
I've
cool,
been learning
cool.
been
myself. Yeah,
yeah,
Mm-hmm. We all are.
yes,
Yes.
definitely.
All the time.
very
Oh yes,
community-based
definitely.
learning.
Mm-hmm. That is the
Yes,
space.
I'm learning about lighting. That's what I'm learning.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, the
Mm-hmm.
lighting, how important lighting is. And
Yeah.
there's a
And
lot
what have
to
you
it.
learned recently? Yeah.
I've learned on the U. I really and also I've learned because I've learned how to the UV unwrap stuff like
Mm-hmm.
I've learned about that literally just yesterday, and
Mm-hmm.
oh, so that's the difference, and I noticed the difference, and I was like, wow. So I'm learning a lot. I'm learning a lot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm getting a lot. I'm learning around a lot. So, and I actually got a person that's want to use my classroom for one of her events she's having, and
Hey.
she's gonna be doing in September. So I'm trying to get it ready.
Cool.
Nice.
Yes, yes, definitely, definitely.
Anyone else? Gastric Lime, which I've forgotten your name. I apologize.
Z-
Zach,
Zach.
right?
Zach.
Yeah, I did actually a thing to this past week, that was a real pain in the ass, which was two-handed interactions.
Oh,
So I
wow.
built the whole game and
Yeah.
I did it so uh, my interactions were the right trigger is gas, the left trigger is brakes,
Ah,
and I was using the thumbstick to steer. I'm like, okay, I'll figure out the actual hand interaction thing. I'll leave that last, and that was a real pain to figure out, but eventually I was able to kind of like build it from scratch. I tried to use the whatever they did with the XR knob out of the sample XR
mm,
toolkit
exercise.
project. Yeah, they have
Hmm.
a knob and they have a wheel there that you can turn that's supposedly two-handed, but didn't quite work.
Hmm.
Part of it was having the wheel snap to the hand. So if you're grabbing it and you grab it anywhere from like the other than the neutral position, it will
Yeah.
snap, which is you want the other way to happen, the hand to snap to the wheel. Another problem, the even so I tried that one. I tried Andrew has a wheel solution that he has
Hmm.
published, same Andrew that has part of this course. That also didn't work quite well, especially with the two hands. I did some stuff with ChatGPT, and that also didn't work. And then I rolled out my own thing, which worked in the sample scene, but then when I put it in the game, there was collision issues.
Ah,
I
yeah.
I added layers and separated everything, which kind of fixed the collisions. But
Hmm.
then also another problem was when the car starts moving, the collision detection was really not happening, so you couldn't let go and re-grab the wheel until the car kind of almost stopped.
Hmm.
So I'm
Hmm.
just saying it was like this one thing after another, and I'll fix
Yes.
one end of the problem, and it will break from another end. And at the end, I
Yeah.
even had to change how I reparent the camera to the car and how I do my follow, just so I fix other problems. And yeah,
Oh wow.
got it done
Do
though.
you do
Uh,
do you do
Hey.
car camera follow? Do you do a VR camera following a car?
So there's both, yes. There's
Oh
Oh,
gosh.
the one that falls, and there's the one where you're sitting in the cockpit, so you can look around. And the one following, um, I'm using that for spectator mode, and I mean you can see it in VR. If you pick particular cars, you can be following the car instead of in the car. But I did
okay.
that only for spectator, so you can join in from PC and be watching or play from PC as well. Um,
The
so
That's
spectator's
technically you
not
cool.
can play. Go
the
ahead.
spectator's not like attached to the car's transform and like they're moving with the car, right? You're just seeing everything
N-
abroad.
It's a smooth follow, so they're
Okay.
not attached to the transform, but they do have a script on it that
Hmm.
follows that transform, and yeah, you can switch from one car to another, and that will snap you behind the car.
Okay.
Um, yeah.
What are
So,
you doing for motion sickness on that?
Mm-hmm.
nothing. It's funny because I've done a lot of games and I understand. I'm big on motion sickness. So I've been doing driving games in VR since like it was 70 hertz with one camera and it was terrible. And a lot of things I've done are like would make you puke. Even my Space Invaders thing had a little bit of motion sickness. But here's my thing, is if it's high enough frame rate and it's running steady at the 90 hertz, which is what
Okay.
my app requests, and it's able to keep up with that, and the car is an open cockpit, so you have a very, like your
Oh, that's
lower
good.
third of whatever you see
Mhm.
is like a fixed frame of reference, which
Mhm.
I think is why I've had people play test this, people who are prone to motion sickness and said it wasn't bad. Like they've gotten motion sick enough, and I think part of it is the just the cars that I'm using happen to make it work. I was thinking I was gonna put a helmet so I limit the field of view, but haven't gotten
Hmm.
complaint. That being said, if you hit a wall real hard
Mhm.
and the
Mhm.
car spins out or flips, you bet
Oh
that's
no.
motion sickening, and
That'll do it. But that's fun
that's
though at that point. Yeah.
it's
So in
it's
summation, what do you do for motion sickness? I just
Right.
encourage it. No.
yeah,
I
I
love it.
think I need to do accident detection. I mean, I did from the beginning when you hit another player, the car goes into like hologram mode, so you can't bump
Oh,
into
uh-huh.
people and
Mhm.
have them wipe out, but you can still hit walls and obstacles and stuff. And I think this is the part that I still need is just when you have a violent stop or you're balancing or your car is flipping around to disable your camera or take you out of the car, do the steady. I don't know if you've played any like of those flying shooting games in VR where when your plane explodes, you just watch it explode and
Mhm.
you're
Mm.
frozen in
Mhm.
that point in space. Or another thing is like fade to black or fade into a
Mhm.
little bubble that has little like stars and special effects that
Mhm.
you hit the wall and
Mhm.
cuckoo birds and
Mhm.
all that.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, uh,
Mhm.
It's pretty cool.
that that would be a thing. Uh, Again, it's never ending because I want
I
this
know.
to be a throwaway project that I just shove out there. And this is the first time I do multiplayer, so my goal with
Mm.
this was just to learn multiplayer. Um, and do something that is car related because I want
Mhm.
to work on another game. Like my next game would be something that uses car mechanic. It's multiplayer, but it's not racing. It's a little different. It's more than
Mhm.
you just do the cars and play mini games that involve driving. Um, yeah, but again, step by step, learning how to make a multiplayer game by itself is something. Learning how to make a multiplayer driving game that has fast moving objects
Wow.
is
Yeah.
also a challenge by itself. So
Mhm.
do those challenges one at a time and just yeah, make it crappy because then you can be done and learn lessons and the next one would be better. Yeah.
Yeah, I like what you said earlier about like not working on something too long. That's
Yeah.
Oh
yeah,
yeah. Oh
especially with
yeah.
the tech going
Oh
so
Mhm.
fast.
oh
It's like,
yeah.
you hear some of these game developers and not that are not in VR, they work on a game like 5, 10 years. I'm like, I don't
Mhm.
think VR has time for that. Like,
Oh.
and I don't have time for that. And so, yeah, I,
Yeah.
my game, it's like keeping the scope really small and, small enough that you can manage it anyway. And then, yeah, like for me, I like my latest little story game maybe took like a year and a half, maybe, but I don't know. But and I think that was too long. So yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to say I agree with that what you said earlier.
Mhm.
It's a good point. Yeah.
I think a good place, good cycle would be like a 6 month cycle.
Yeah, I think that's better.
That being
Mhm.
said, that's really nothing. Like, because I've
I know.
felt before,
I know.
you can't do
I know.
much in 6 months, but 2 years is definitely the wrong answer. And I've
No,
done a
I
bunch
agree.
of these.
I
I've spent
agree.
at least two or three projects I spent 2 years working on. So, yeah, regrets. It's always
I
like
agree.
just
I know
wrap
what you
it up.
mean.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mm, definitely.
I just want to check. Are we still streaming?
Oh, whoops. I'm looking what time it is.
Streaming.
Gosh, time goes fast.
Okay, cool. We're going to
Mhm.
be done like with the official event in about three minutes, probably more like 2 minutes. We can still hang out and talk and have fun, but I just want to let you know that the official event will be over. We will have the hour-long meetup posted on the official Banter YouTube channel, and I'll link that in the VR Creator Club forums, and I'll put links to the things that I have here, and I'll also put Flutter's YouTube video on
Oh,
networking.
thanks.
So yeah, no problem. So I just want to let you guys know that we are going to be ending the official event. You don't have to leave, but that this will be the end of it.
Thank you so much for doing this. It's just been great and good to meet you guys for
Mhm.
sure.
It's great to meet you. Yeah. This has been
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, I probably
This was a
should
good
get
one.
going, but it was really nice to be here and get to know you guys. So thank you.
Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
good to meet
Feel
you
free to
too.
reach out. And the
Yeah.
more you guys interact with the VR Creator Club on the official forums, the more like momentum we'll get. So the more that we can do this kind of stuff, and I'm going to keep pushing it. But the more like cheering and like interaction
Hmm.
I have, the more momentum that I'll have to keep doing new and better things. So
Awesome. Sounds
so
good.
thank you.
Sounds good. All right.
Alright.
Yeah, cool. Thank you. Been meaning to come to one of these for quite a while.
Yeah.
Just doesn't
Same.
work out on the schedule, so I'm
I
glad.
know how it goes.
So is this gonna be a 3 p.m. spot for going forward, like this time spot, or is it gonna fluctuate, or?
I haven't received any feedback on whether or not this is
Oh,
a good time spot or a bad time spot. I have seen an obvious decline in participation, and I don't know if that's due to the time spot or the content. So if people overwhelmingly want to change the time spot, then I will change it. But right now, I'm going to maintain it for continuity and
Hmm.
people knowing what's going on instead of being like, I don't know, it changes every week.
Hmm. Hmm.
no, this one works for me at least.
Okay,
Yeah, it works for me right now.
Yeah.
excellent. Unless I get a job, then I might move it.
Yeah, I just make things work, and yeah, I mean, well, I can because I'm freelance,
Yeah,
so that helps.
cool.
Anyway, cool.
Cool stuff.
Where
Well,
does
thanks again.
where do you edit
Thank
your
you.
like
Good to meet
avatar
you.
stuff?
Yep.
Is
Oh,
that like in the main?
Well, I still can't see my avatar. You're all spheres, so
oh no. So
yeah.
if